Okay, it took me forever and a day to try to get my stuff up and working. Like today, my phone was just not doing what it needed to do, but I covered Clemson versus SMU. And I think that the Tigers made me eat my words. Yeah, they sure did. They made me eat my words. So in my pregame, which for some reason it only was loading on certain platforms, so I think it was on Instagram, Facebook, Threads. I did get it up to Twitter or X. I'm probably gonna always call it Twitter, and it would not load to much of any place else. So if you didn't see it, then that's okay. It might pop up later now that I'm home and all that jazz. But in that preview, I said that I felt as though that the game was going to be tight. I thought it was going to be a very good and competitive game, as I always think that conference play, no matter what conference you're in. But I always think that ACC conference play is super duper competitive, as we saw last night with Louisville and Miami, and as we saw today with Georgia Tech and Duke and all these other schools. But usually, conference play is competitive, so I knew that was going to be a thing. I also said that it was going to be a battle of defense because Clemson was out with they were without Cade Klubnik, which is their starting quarterback, and they had their you know backup quarterback in, and he was getting his very first true career start, and he did excellent. And I'm going to go to bat for him. I'm going to go to bat for him. I really am, right? And I get to that in a second. But on the other side, they had their quarterback, Jennings, coming in, and I said that he had a high turnover rate. So far within the season, he had 6 interceptions. So it was going to be very pivotal for him to, secure the ball and be as accurate as possible. And that did happen. He was pretty accurate today. And the defense on both sides did their thing. Both sides, I will definitely say, it was highly defensive, and I said that in my preview. But I also said that I thought that the Tigers was going to get a win at home. I did. I said I thought that, it's going to be a close margin, and they were going to do similar to what they did last season and when they were in the ACC Championship game. And boy, golly, was I wrong. Was I wrong? I was wrong. And you know what? I am not the type that'll be like, I'm not gonna admit when I was wrong. I was wrong. They made me eat my words. Yeah, they did. They made me eat my words. So I'm gonna talk about a little bit of the game. I do have some talking points in the description, so I'm gonna try not to veer away from those talking points. But I do want to say the one thing that I am absolutely, well, the only thing that I am wrong about outside of them winning, because they didn't win, but I have been tearing up CV's name. Christopher. I said it right in my preview video, and I don't feel like I'm going to mess it up. I think it's Vizzina. That's how I think you spell it. Because if you drop the A and add the I, it's like Vizzini. Some say Vizzina. I think that's right. So I definitely was spelling it wrong. So that's the only thing that anybody can come to me about and say, you didn't get it right. I did get it right. Okay? And let me tell you how I got it right, because I made a tweet and I said that he's not a bad quarterback. I think that he is fearless. He doesn't mind using his legs. He has an arm. He can throw the ball. It's not like he's one of those quarterbacks who like, this boy can't throw the ball at all. He can throw the ball, and he can definitely make a play. He can do that because he did try a few times to make a play, and the play just was not made. I see, hold on, says, hey to the chat, love the channel, go blue. Go blue. Right? So he tried to make a play, right? And I said that I think that he's going to be good. I think that he has an arm. I think that he's fearless. He just needs the right play calls so that way it highlights what he is actually good at. And that's going to be hard to do because obviously they have only really seen him in practice a few games here and there. But last season they had a lot of tight games. Even head coach Dabo Sweeney said this in the post-game conference. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the post-game. But he said that they had a lot of tight games, so he really wasn't in the fold. He wasn't really being able to play him like they wanted to play him. So they got to see him in practice and everything, and then, now was his time. It was his time to shine. He had to get out there, and you can't be scared. Okay, this is Death Valley. This is Clemson. There's a standard. You just can't be scared, right? And I think he did really, really well, in my opinion. And, of course, there's always going to be some naysayers that have something to say. But when you look at his stats, I wasn't wrong. When we look at his stats, CV was 29 for 42, 317 yards, averaging 7.5 yards, and had 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. His QBR is 49.3. So when you're looking at that, okay, could he have completed more passes? Sure. Yes. But for him to have his very first career start and he go out there and throw for 317 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sure, you can argue, oh, the SMU pass defense was horrible, whatever. That's not his fault. He could have went out there and threw interception after interception after interception. We seen Carson Beck, a veteran, go out there last night and throw 4 picks. So you get a brand new, basically a rookie up in there. He does his job. He does well. And again, said number 2 too. The offense didn't do much to help him. The run game was not that great. And at the end of the day, when passes are thrown to you, you gotta hold on to them. You gotta catch them. That's a veteran offense that he's playing with. Yes, they have some banged up players here and there, but at the end of the day, he went out there and he lived up to his job. He didn't turn the ball over. He wasn't out there just like willy-nilly just throwing the ball away every chance he got. He tried, he attempted, and he got 317 yards. You got veteran QBs that are not even doing that. Who's been in week after week after week after week after week, not even doing that. So I'm a vouch for the kid. I'm a vouch for the kid because he didn't have a lot of playing time, and it's been stated and is noted and is statistically in the fold. He did not have a lot of playing time. So to go from like 0 to none playing time to getting in a game and you're playing all 4 quarters and you're expected to show up and show out and not turn that ball over, I think he did pretty well. And again, this is my opinion, but I'm going to stand on my opinion because I said what I said. Okay? Now, I already mentioned, and I think that's where me and head coach Davos Sweeney agree. The run game was not the run game that people would know Clemson to have. It just wasn't there. It was like non-existent. And they have some great assets, and I said this too in the preview. There are great assets on that team that have been highlighters and markers for that team. TJ Moore had a phenomenal game today. Phenomenal game. I'm used to hearing Bryant Wesco Jr. more. I'm used to hearing Randall more. And maybe they were locked in and locked down and they just couldn't do it. But at the end of the day, the offense did not help them as much. And there were a lot more sacks going on. CV got sacked a lot more than usual. Could he move his feet a little faster? Probably. But the point of playing complementary football is to help your teammates out, especially when you know that he is new to this whole environment, to this whole field. So it was actually great that he opened up in Death Valley. And you never know. Klubnik is supposed to be coming back. I think that he'll be ready to come back by the time they get to the next home game, which will be the homecoming game on November 1st, and they'll be playing Duke. Duke did lose today to Georgia Tech. Duke folded. They folded. And if they play like they did today, then I guarantee you Clemson's going to win that homecoming game. But you're always supposed to win your homecoming game, right? I don't think that they thought that Duke was going to be this competitive when they put him on the schedule, though. I don't think that. But Klubnik should be back by the time they get to that November 1st game. They have essentially another week off because they're not playing again until November 1st. So there's really no excuses in terms of injuries, in terms of getting ready, in terms of figuring out the game plan. There shouldn't be any excuses there. You should look at the film, look at the tape, and get back to work. I still do believe that Clemson can close out this season at least. I don't want to jinx it. Can they win 3 more games? Yes, I think they can win 3 more games. Okay, I think they can win 3 more games. But they're 3-4 currently on the season. So, but I think they can win 3 more games to at least go to a bowl game. SMU on the other side, because I like to talk to both sides. SMU is now 5-2. Okay, they were great last year, but they just fell a little bit short in the ACC Championship game. And everybody was coming in and saying this is their revenge game. And I said it was the rematch of the ACC Championship game because they literally lost at the end of it all by a field goal, right? And they made sure today that that was not the case. Now, tweeted all day long, both teams struggled offensively, in my opinion. Real bad. Like, it was dreadful to some point. I think it was just the battle of the punters at one point in the game. Punt, 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 punt. You get a punt. You get a punt. You get a punt. I get a punt. We all get a punt. That's how I really felt, right? And that's okay, I guess, having trouble figuring it out. But I really expected them to step it up in the second half. And both teams did step it up relatively in the second half. But I think SMU probably would have had a little bit more success had their defense, stopped making those undisciplined acts and behaviors, because that cost them yardage. And then Clemson capitalized off that yardage. There's one thing Clemson does really, really well. If you give them the yards, they're going to take the yards. They're going to do what they need to do with the yards, and they're going to capitalize almost every single time. And that's what they did, right? So they came back and they really made a hunt for it in the second half. However, I do think that the Jennings got comfortable at some point, and he just started to be like, okay, this is what I know how to do. I'm going to do it. I think they were, like I said, he had 6 interceptions on the season, so I think they were pretty cautious to be like, don't just be throwing that ball to the wind. Don't throw that ball to the wind, because if Clemson gets the ball, the defense is taking it back. And even their head coach is like, Clemson's defense automatically has at least 3 NFL draft picks. Like their defensive line is like that. Sorry, I'm hitting the desk and the microphone. Let me know if my volume goes out. But he was saying that their defensive line is something that's really, really good. So they already knew coming in that they could not just let Jennings go out there and just do whatever he thought that he could do. He and CJ Bailey, in my opinion, and I am now a fan of him. I've been a fan of CJ Bailey. But to me, him and CJ Bailey remind me a lot of each other in terms of their playing style. And here's why. They're very athletic. They have the speed. They don't have no fear in their heart to just air that thing out. Throw it to the wind. And they trust that their receivers or whoever's going to catch it. Somebody going to catch that thing. And it's very beautiful. Like, the way that they play is just so athletic and so speedy and beautiful to me. And I'm like, this is good. This is good. I like this. I like this play. Because you get a little bit of the L. Jack type of effect. If you know, you know. So I think that he did really, really good. I think once he finally got settled in and they realized, like, okay, we are not playing from behind like we were in the championship game. We are now playing as ahead. So now we can fully, like, let's just open the playbook up a little bit. And I think that once they started to open the playbook up a little bit, after they realized that Clemson does a lot of man coverage, Clemson also has really good corners. So you can't just be out there. Your receivers are going to struggle a little bit because the corners is on you. They on you. White on rice. Okay? But once they figure out, like, okay, we are ahead, we need to capitalize off of being ahead where we can open up our playbook a little bit more. We can get on in there. See what we can do. So I think that's what happened coming in the second half. And they did a really good, I started to panic for them, and I don't know why. But 2 minutes to go, I'm like, oh my gosh, they got the ball. Are they going to be able to run out this little bit of time? Okay, are they going to run it out? And even in post-game, their head coach was like, I told them to score. But if they didn't score, we had a plan. They were not going to get the ball on us again and do what they did to us last time. But this time we were already ahead. And I told them that we need to go out there and score. They had trouble. Every time they got to the 40, I felt like they was tanking. It's like, I'll get to the 40, tanking. Like, I don't know what was going on, right? And Clemson gave them some yards that pass interference. They were trying to convert a 4th and 7. That's crazy. 4th and 7? They said we're going to go for it. But they really had to, because if you look at the fieldage, if you look at the yardage and where they were, not saying the field goal kicker couldn't make it. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, it was a little too far for him to be trying to just kick it into the wind, and then it might get into the wrong hands. So they had to go for it. And Clemson, in that big moment, made the mistake by doing pass interference and giving them the ball and moving them past the 40. And then they were able to capitalize and get some points on the board after he told them to score. And if they didn't score, apparently they was going to run down the clock. And then they were going to kick a field goal. And it was going to have like seconds left. And it wasn't going to be enough for them to even come back and try to win. They could come back and score, but it wasn't going to come back and win. I know I said that real fast. But, that's just the way my brain goes. But Kevin Jennings is our quarterback, number 7. He was 23 for 43, 290 yards, averaging 6.7. He had 2 TDs and 1 interception. So his QBR is 69. Okay? So like I said, they were very cautious because again, he will throw it and he will let it go. I will say that the time that they did get the interception, I guess it does count as an interception, but it was came over the boy didn't catch it. It came over his hands, tipped the ball, went down. The young man, amazing man, the way he dove and caught the ball, caught it up. So that was an interception, but he didn't mean it. Do they ever mean it? No, sometimes they do be throwing the ball right to the other player. You like, dude, is that your even teammate? Y'all not even in the same color. What is you doing? I'm gonna stop playing with y'all. Okay. I've been talking for 15 minutes. I'm about to get off here. But really good though. Really good. I think that he could be more accurate, of course. Because okay, 23 for 43, you could be a little bit more accurate. He can increase that accuracy a little bit. And the accuracy will increase if you stop throwing interceptions. Okay. Yeah, but they got some really good stars on their side. Jordan Hudson has 7 receptions, 131 yards, averaging 18.7 a carry, 1 touchdown, as longest was 70 yards. Another one that was really good on the receiving core is Chris Johnson Jr., number 6. He had 4 receptions, 40 yards, 10 averaging. And then the other one that had the touchdown was Matthew Hibner, number 88. He had 2 receptions, 29 yards, 14.5 averaging with 1 touchdown. The longest was the 22-yard touchdown pass. Beautiful pass. It was a beautiful pass. I love seeing the big numbers, your big guys going out there and catching the balls, the tight ends. I'm a defensive girly, but I love me a good tight end. They're just big. They're just there. They have good hands. They're fast. They're big and fast. How did you make them together? I don't know. I'm not really sure. They're big and fast, and they can make it happen. Usually, if you got a really good tight end on your team, you're bound to win the games. Because when it out, the tight end is going to handle it out. I said what I said. So, he did what he had to do. Really, really good over there. Let me see. Defense was not bad. They could be a little bit better, not bad. But they had a total of 74 TOT. There were 46 solo tackles. Yeah. And their rushing core is okay. Rushing core is okay. Chris Johnson Jr., again, 6 carries, 59 yards. 1 touchdown, longest was 30. Derek McFall, number 0, 4 carries, 47 yards, 11.8, averaging 1 touchdown. And then the big guy with the 11 carries, that's TJ Harding, 11 carries, 16 yards, 1.1 averaging. So if they get better at running the ball, they would do pretty good. Adam Randall for Clemson, let's go over some stats. 10 carries, 29 yards, 2.9 average. Longest was 12 yards. That's just not normal for him. CV even read, he had 15 carries. CV had 15 carries. See what I say? He ain't bad. 15 carries, 4 yards. Longest was 7. How was his longest 7 yards if he only had 4? Okay, whatever. I don't know, child. Yeah, so basically when you look at their rushing yards, everybody else had like 1 carry, 1 carry, 1 carry. Antonio Williams had 2 carries, -3 yards. That's not usual. And in the receiving core, TJ Moore, 5 receptions, 124 yards. Longest was 62, 2 touchdowns. So the touchdowns ran through him. Tristan Smith, number 3, had 3 receptions, 51 yards, 1 touchdown. Longest was 23. And then Antonio Williams, 6 receptions, 54 yards, 9 average. Longest was 18. And the team altogether had 3 fumbles. Yeah. So I think just offensively, they just didn't play up to standard, didn't play up to par. Number 50 did get injured and had to be carted off. They said he's going to go to the hospital. I think he went to the hospital, but he did his x-ray, and the x-ray was negative, so nothing is broken. So that's a round of applause. And then there's another one that's injured. I want to say it was, is it Smith? There's another injured player. He had to go to the hospital. I totally forgot who it was, but Clemson Clemson needs to get healthy over this next week. Clemson needs to prepare themselves to go against Duke for their homecoming. This is literally their biggest game of the season is going to be for them with their homecoming. And I really just hope that they figure it out, that they get it together, and they pull a win out for homecoming, because everybody wants to win on homecoming. If you don't want to win on homecoming, I'm looking at you sideways. Even the Florida Gators won during their homecoming. So that's that. I think overall, really great game for SMU, for them just through the struggles, figuring it out, pulling it out, and getting a win. Clemson has a lot of work to do, as we already know, and as they have been having to do all season. So the work continues. Head coach Dabo Swinney doesn't seem too concerned. He says, the future of the team is that we're just going to watch the film. We're going to get better. We're going to get healthy. We're going to keep it pushing. We're going to finish out the season. Then we're going to start all over again. That's what we do year to year. He also said to the fans that they are going to win more championships. He said that's what they're going to do. He said it may not be this year, but guarantee they're going to win more championships. So there's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be upset about. There's nothing to panic about, because this team has seen and has done, and it will do, essentially. So that was his message basically to the fans, and you can do with that as you must. Okay? But thank you all for watching and being a part of my game day recap. I was trying to do it on the field, but like I said, my phone was just not on my side today. But I'm so happy to be here in the comfort of my Pretty Girls studio. And I am Des, and this is Pretty Girls Love Sports. So please make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing on all social media platforms at PG Love Sports, or you can just type it in Pretty Girls Love Sports. Make sure you're tuning in to the Daily Dose with Des. It'll be back on Tuesday to recap all of the NFL games and the rest of college game day for Saturday. And we'll be getting into some hockey. I'll be doing hockey content tomorrow, and I'll also be posting it over there if you like hockey content on Through the Glitter Glass. That is a whole another channel. Again, if you want to support, you can always go to pglovesports.org and shop and buy your merch. You can subscribe to the free weekly, which is going to be coming back on Tuesdays, the Playmakers Press. All I need is your email address, so you can go to prettygirlsmedia.com and scroll all the way to the bottom and put your email address in to get the free weekly newspaper. Lots of ways to support, lots of ways to continue to be a part of the crew. Thank you for all that you do. I love you all, and I will see you